Hi, and welcome to Diversity in the Community. I am so pleased to have with me today the CEO of Our Piece of the Pie, Enid Ray. And I'm going to have her tell you a little bit about herself. Welcome to the program, Enid.
Thank you so much. Thank you for hosting us and giving us the opportunity to talk a little bit about what Our Piece of the Pie does in the community, our focus, our work with youth. To tell you a little bit about myself, I grew up in the city of Hartford. I'm a product of Hartford Public Schools.
Okay.
So I lived in the very neighborhoods of the youth that we serve today. I then went on to college and law school and then decided to continue to live in the city of Hartford and support my community and raise my 5 children there in Hartford with my husband.
Wonderful, wonderful. So you're giving back to where,
That's right.
to the community.
That's right. That's right. And in many ways, I always feel that my community is also giving back to me.
Yes.
Because what I'm learning at Our Piece of the Pie is that the circumstances and situations that are affecting our young people are different today than the ones that I experienced as a youth.
Yes.
There are things that are similar, right? The lack of opportunity, the lack of positive things for young people to do in the community is similar. But today we also have the onset of technology, the pressures on young people to conform, to belong, to be in the in crowd is sometimes the pressure that makes them, veer off of the path for their success.
Right. Yes. Yes. I have a few questions here I want to ask you, and I'd love for you to elaborate on them for me. Tell me, first of all, what is Our Piece of the Pie?
So Our Piece of the Pie is an organization that serves over 1,300 youth annually.
Wow.
We serve young people ages 14 to 24. So our space is really about those youth and young adults and helping them to develop their pathway for success. We're an agency that works with young people who are coming out of the juvenile justice system, young people who have perhaps been in foster care, so youth who have been in state systems, along with young people who haven't been successful in education. Many of our youth come to us not completing their high school diploma, so we work with them in partnership with Hartford Schools and actually Bloomfield Public Schools to help them complete, because we think that the high school diploma, right, is the first gateway to career, a job, and potentially certification or college success. So we're an organization that builds the skills of our young people so that they can be successful.
Wonderful. I love it. I love it. Well, you said about 13. I was going to, how many youth does Our Piece of the Pie service every year? You said there's about 1,300 a year?
Yeah, we serve about 1,300 young people a year. One of the things that that many people don't know about us is that in the city of Hartford, we're the largest employer of youth in the city.
Really? Oh my
We
goodness.
offer summer youth employment, and we also offer year-round internships. So of that 1,300, about 700 of those young people are employed throughout the year.
Wow.
And I like to say we're a force multiplier. By that I mean that every dollar that gets invested in us gets multiplied by other funders and then goes into the pockets of young people. We know that our young people annually earn over $1.5 million in wages.
Wow.
So that's what they earn through their work, through their internships, through the work that they're doing with us.
Now, typically, what types of jobs do the young people end up, getting?
Yeah. So at OPP, we have a range of experiences for youth. Everything from the Youth Service Corps work, which is groups of young people doing community service work in the community and getting paid. They do projects such as cleanup at our parks. They shovel elderly residents and other homebound residents during the winter. They also have done really important projects for the city, like figuring out where the vacant properties are, and creating a resource map so that the city can see where abandoned or
I think I saw something on the news.
yes,
about
yes,
that.
yes.
Yeah,
Those
yeah.
were our youth.
Oh my, okay.
So they go out into the community to really give back. We also have young people who are involved and employed in the career tracks. So, for example, we have young people who are pursuing a career in advanced manufacturing. So they often will do an internship in those types of careers, whether it's advanced manufacturing, business, or allied health.
Wonderful. Do you tend to have more females or male?
You know, I think we're pretty even on the females. What I will say is that we often see many young moms. When our females come to us, it's because they really have veered off track, the traditional track of graduating high school in 4 years. Often, you know, they have a baby or they are actually pregnant at that time. And so our work is about really focusing them on their goals and their trajectory for the future.
And it's not just about the job. I'm sure a lot of relationships have been built.
Yes,
with the adults that are helping the kids.
Absolutely. So I think what makes OPP different than some of the other organizations in the community that provide, you know, workforce training, job and employment training, is that our model is centered around a connection between the youth and adult staff, and that staff is called the Youth Development Specialist.
Okay.
Every young person that comes to the organization has a YDS assigned to them. Wow. The goal of that staff is really to help that young person develop their individualized plan for success, and then they become the coach, the big sister, the cousin, the mom, the person who, as the kids say, roll up on them in the community and say, where have you been for a week, right? So the work of the YDS is a real important ingredient to our success. And many of our young people really comment that it is that relationship, that love, that trust that they're able to build that really helps them succeed, in addition to the training and education that we provide.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's just great. When we talked about your target population, the youth, but you gave me the ages. I have here too, and I think you already told me this. What are the main services Our Piece of the Pie provides? So
the organization is organized to do really a series of things. One, we want young people to help develop their personal skills. Everything from how do you talk in an interview, for example, how do you network, how do you control yourself when a difficult situation occurs, right? So we work with young people on their own personal development, or what we call habits of success, right? The other thing that we do is we offer educational opportunities either through our school that we have in partnership with Hartford Public Schools and a program that we have with Bloomfield called the Lab School and Opportunity Academy. That's the place where young people can actually get their diploma and finish their high school education. And then we have a whole series of programs that help train young people in career competency development. What is career competency development and workforce development? We work with young people to do a resume. We work with them to get prepared for interviews. We also work with them to enroll in certification programs. One of the populations that I think we're having great success with is the population that is returning from incarceration. Many times those young people cannot get a job anywhere else in the regular marketplace in employment because they have a record. What OPP tries to do is work with them to get them rapid certification in the industries that are actually friendly to returning
Yes.
citizens. So,
important.
for example, forklift,
Yeah.
food service, those industries will often give folks a second chance. And so our work involves a lot of that thinking. How can we create an opportunity for someone who is now ready to take full advantage of a second chance?
Oh, wow. That is, oh God, that is so great. My son worked with a lot of youth that were in prison, really young kids. And they loved him so much because they knew he cared about them.
Right,
You know?
right.
And just the things that you guys do to help these kids when they, you know, people look at them, oh, they've been in jail or prison or whatever. They look down on them, but you're giving them that opportunity, that new chance of life. I just think it's just wonderful. That's all I can say.
That you know, when I look at our young people, I see young people who have had significant barriers to overcome,
right,
whether
right.
family barriers, barriers for themselves of
Right.
addiction or incarceration, sometimes just the barriers of poverty. They haven't
Exactly.
had opportunity and
Exactly.
access.
Exactly.
So it's not that they have failed morally, it's that they have not had the opportunity
Exactly.
really to
Exactly.
build their skills and to, you know, get on a successful trajectory. So from our perspective, every youth deserves
Exactly.
that opportunity, be it a second opportunity, third opportunity, fourth opportunity,
Right,
right?
right.
Whatever it takes, because we're all people in progress.
Right,
We're
right.
still working on ourselves as
Right,
adults.
right.
Why would we think that it's different for youth,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly. Yep.
We kind of hold them to a higher standard
Yeah,
than we
yep.
do ourselves
Yep.
sometimes.
My son used to say, when I looked at the file, he would say the different files of some of the kids, and he said, if you were just to know what some of these kids have gone through, you'd understand why they are the way
That's
they
right.
are.
That's right.
But some of us have lived a whole different life. We have been away from all of that stuff. Have no clue what some of these kids have gone through.
Yeah, yeah.
So-
And that's a new area for OPP that we're
Yeah.
really starting to look at. You've heard the phrase trauma-informed, you know, trauma-informed practice. We are really looking at the research that talks about how the brain changes as a result of trauma. And we're asking ourselves as an organization, how can we help young people and support them, especially those who come from significantly traumatic
Yes.
circumstances, to really find their path, to get on a journey
Right.
to success.
Right.
So that perhaps the things that happen in their families won't be repeated
Right,
in,
right,
you know,
right.
in their future.
Right, right. Wonderful. What is the most important piece of work that OPP does?
I would say to you, our most important piece is the relationship that we build with young people,
Yeah.
especially through our youth service staff. But I think as an organization, if you ask in the community, what is OPP known for? Folks will name our staff by name. They can refer back to the connections, the times that that staff was there for them. And so I often say we are the forever home for many of our young people. We are the place that even when they have been successful and finished our services, when they're changing jobs, they come back.
Oh, that's what I was going to ask
Could you
next.
could you look at my resume, miss? You know, I'm going to do this interview, miss. Could you help me think about how I answer these questions? We end up being the home that continues to celebrate and continues to support them through their life journey and life trajectory. And I think that's the thing I'm most proud of, really, the staff at OPP and the commitment they have to serving our youth, because many of the staff live and come from our community, the Hartford and surrounding town communities.
Yeah.
And many of them have experienced some of the challenges that our youth have experienced. So we have staff that are caring. They have a context of knowledge in their lived experience and in their skill set to move our young people along in their journey to success.
Yes, I was going to say, how many of the young people come back and say, this is where I am now?
Yeah. So one of the wonderful things about the organization that has happened just recently in the last 2 years, for the first time, we have one of our young people who was served by OPP probably 15, 20 years ago. She is now a board member of the organization. Wow. So that tells you something, right? We've been around long enough that our young people have grown. We've also been successful enough that now we're seeing our young people in higher positions. She does HR in a large firm. And so they're coming back to us asking, how can I now be engaged? And that's happening more and more. So if you were an OPP youth, call us. We want you back.
Yes, so they can give their testimony.
That's right.
Yeah.
We're ready to build, I think, an alumni network. You know, and I think that's a testament to the wonderful work and legacy of the staff who have been there long term. It speaks to how we have evolved as an organization as the needs of young people have evolved.
Do you ever get a chance to deal with the family or the parents at all?
Yes. For some of our young people, we're engaged with their family, and others are actually disengaged completely from their family. So the goal for us is to find those adults that will support young people. But we have some families that have been with us for a long time. In fact, the parent had been at OPP, and now children of those youth have sometimes been at OPP. So we're an organization that tries to look at the family holistically, right? But our goal is not family counseling and support in that way. We respect that there are other wonderful mental health and supportive organizations in the community that do that. Our goal is really working with that young person and getting them on their journey to success in both education and employment.
Because sometimes if you try to deal with too many things.
Yeah. And you know what I often hear from parents is, I wish I had OPP when I was growing up, right? I hear that a lot. I think parents often recognize, you know, I'm the mom of 5. I don't expect to provide every single thing my kids need, just me or my husband. You know, that's why the saying, it takes a village, right? Sometimes kids can hear it better from others than their parents. And so when we have those situations and we can sit with parents, and parents are the partner in moving that youth on their journey, we absolutely take advantage of that.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. I heard you have a new mission statement at OPP. Can you tell me a little more about it?
Yes. So for a long time, our organization focused on helping young people become economically independent adults. Which I think is a very worthy mission statement. It doesn't mean we're going to stop doing that. But in our most recent process, we started asking ourselves, what is it that we really do with young people? Because we want young people to be able to talk about their experiences with us in the community, right? To give testimony, to give testament to whether it's working for them or not. So the staff met, and we had a whole process where over 30 of our staff and board members were involved, and we created a new mission statement. And the new mission statement now is that OPP empowers youth to overcome barriers and develop competencies to succeed in education and employment. So the emphasis is the work that we do is about empowering young people. We are working as a partner with a young person to really take themselves on as a project, right? This is about you. I could want it for you, but if you don't do it,
That's right.
It's not going to happen, right? But I'm here to help you, to coach you, to give you that support so that you feel like you can do that journey yourself. We want young people to develop competencies. We want them to develop a strong tool bag of skills that they can use lifelong. And we know that they come to us with significant barriers, and we want to know what they are, and we want to work together on helping them truly overcome them. And the success in education and employment is a given. If you don't have some credentialing, if you don't get to those baseline credentials in education, employment often becomes difficult. So we want them to be competitive in the marketplace. That's why I say to folks, OPP is not just a social service agency, right? Helping. We are an agency that is developing human capital in our community. We are developing young people to thrive, to give back to their community, to be employed, so I can retire, so you can retire, and there can be someone there, right? Because we often say youth are our future. Well, no, they're not if we're not
training them
in the present
or empowering them now.
When are they going to learn? When are they going to be able to do these things? So that is our new lens. We're just being very intentional about saying what we're doing and doing what we're saying.
Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it. What made you, when you had your other job, what drew you to OPP?
You know, so I was previously, privileged to work on the staff of Hartford Public Schools, doing work in the Office of School Choice, where I had the occasion to talk to families about how to select their schools, what were the options available in the region. And that work was very fulfilling. You know, I loved being in my school district, the very district that I came from. But the more that I was out in the community, I was missing being in the community, like in the actual community, right? And this is my population. Youth 14 to 24 years of age is always the population that I've resonated with my whole career as an attorney, as an educator, as an activist. I've worked with young people and families in that age range. And so when this opportunity came up, I was intrigued because I knew the organization kind of in its history and legacy, but I've learned a tremendous amount in the past 2 years about what OPP is doing today and how much we've changed to serve the needs of youth. One exciting thing for me, and I just feel like I'm blessed to be there. I am working today, our offices at OPP are literally 4 blocks from where my family came from Puerto Rico. Over 45 years ago.
Oh my God.
So to look outside my office window, right, and realize that I've literally come full circle, it gives me chills, and it makes me feel like I am at the right place. I'm exactly where I need to be. And so that's why I said, I think this is what brings me joy, what makes me feel full of gratitude and hopeful for the possibility of our young people, because when I look at them, I see them full of potential, right? I see them as talented young people. They just need that opportunity to find that in themselves and really get on their journey.
So your family came here 45 years ago?
Yes.
Now your office is in the same neighborhood. You can
same
see it
neighborhood. I could see it out of my window every day. I look out.
Wow.
And it's a great reminder, right?
Yes.
Because it's not just about, okay, so we were able to thrive and be successful. I'm the first in my family to go to college and, to go to law school. It's not just about my success and the fact that it was possible. It makes me think every day, what do I need to do to create the environment for others, for young people to be successful, right? What did I get that our young people are not getting that I need to create? And part of it is that intensive relationship with an adult. There were many adults around me, in my household, and in the community. You know, if I walked home a different way on any given day, somebody was, you know, meeting my mother at the door by the time she was getting home from work, saying, you know, Enid didn't walk by my house today, so I don't know where she went, but she didn't go the way that you told her to walk, right? We don't always have that in the community any longer.
Right, we used to have it all day.
That's right.
Everybody would be telling on me too.
So
you know.
we need to create that sense of community for our young people.
Yeah, right. Does this new mission statement allude to changes we see happening soon?
Yeah, I think it does, because, you know, what we're thinking about as an organization is, for many years we have offered programs or services that are specific to populations of youth,
right?
Like, you know, foster care youth, or youth coming out of the juvenile justice system. The approach that we're taking now is that this is the population of our young people, right? This is the target population. They have specific characteristics, and we are an organization that works well in meeting the needs of those young people with those characteristics. But instead of thinking that you're only going to have access to this particular program, we're now taking an approach in this mission that it is about empowerment. It's about building new skill sets and competencies so that you can overcome barriers and increase your skills in education and employment, which means there's no wrong door. Any door you come into the organization, you should be able to access those things, right? Not just because you came in this track, then, you know, you can't take advantage of. For example, we have a boat shop at OPP that does woodworking.
Oh, I read about that. Yeah.
That really, it repairs boats from the area, but what it also does, it really gives young people a sense of accomplishment of working on a project from start to finish, right?
Yeah.
I want every young person to have that experience at OPP, not just young people, because that's what's in the funding contract. So we're working hard to create a menu of services that will be available to all of our youth, not just some of our youth. So it's making us think more collaboratively, more holistically, right? And it's making us also think about, what do we stop doing? And where are the gaps? There are things we need to get better at. For example, we were talking earlier about trauma. We need a better understanding about how we, as staff, when we're building that relationship with a young person, could help them understand and deal with some of the traumatic experiences of their life. We're not going to become clinicians. But there are things that you can do. There could be deep listening, right? There could be helping a young person recognize when they need other help. And we can do that warm handoff. So I expect that we will grow new areas of work.
Wow, okay. Okay, what exciting things are in the near future for OPP?
Well, it happens this has been a very exciting week. In fact, today we had our OPP Youth Summit on Juvenile Justice, where we had 140 participants at Capital Community College.
Wow.
Really talking about how the juvenile justice system inequities affect our youth. So we talked about everything from the school to prison pipeline. We talked about how young people could be involved in advocacy. We also talked about trauma and the role of race in trauma. And so we had a day filled with discussions, not just with adults like us, but youth themselves. So we had a panel of young people who talked about their experiences and gave recommendations on what they thought, you know, is needed. What is needed more in the community? What could we do more of? So that was new and exciting. Next week on Wednesday, we're having our annual event. So if you're interested, we're doing a twist on the golf events that many organizations have. We're having a golfing event, but it's going to be a mini golf event, folks. Everybody can participate. And it's going to be on the Berlin Turnpike and at the Golfers, I think it's called Golfers Paradise there. But look on our website. It's on the, it's next week, Wednesday, the 29th. And we expect to have a lot of fun. And it's really geared as a way for the community to get to know our youth more, for us to get to know other community members more, because we're asking those who know us to bring others who don't know us and do a team to play.
Yes,
And so, you know, as an organization, we're trying to get more into the community and share the good work that we're doing, and also be a good partner. Listen what other organizations are doing and figure out, is there potential to collaborate? Is there potential to support one another? Because, you know, we can't do it alone. No group can do it alone. This really requires a community effort.
Now, you were talking about having the panel discussion, and I think we talked about it a little bit before we started the program. Would be a great thing to actually have here on Win TV, to have a couple of the kids come and actually talk about, you know, their lives, their experiences, what they think can be done, you know, and empower them on the program. I would love to have that as a whenever we can make some time, and I think it would make a great program.
That's wonderful. Thank you for inviting us back. We'd be happy to, you know, do that, because that's a way of also growing their skills. Imagine they're going to say, I was on TV, I was interviewed, I know how to do that work, right? And I think it's important for folks to hear firsthand their stories. As your son was saying, you know, many of our young people have overcome so much to get to where they are, and they continue to work very hard on their journey of success, you know, and transformation for many of them. So thank you for inviting us back.
I love it. I absolutely love it. I want you to look at your camera and just anything else that you want to say. Talk about your upcoming events. Talk about the website, how they can look you up, and all that kind of stuff.
So feel free. I want to invite folks to go to our website at opp.org, and I want folks to be able to look at the events we're having, get to know us, and reach out, come visit us, and see what young people are doing to really get on a successful journey for education and employment.
All right. Enid, I tell you, it was a pleasure having anytime I have anyone on the show that has anything to do with helping young people. I absolutely love it.
Well, thank you.
So it was really a pleasure meeting you and having you on the program tonight. And I wish you much. I know this is not the last time I'm going to see you.
Thank you.
But again,
absolutely.
Thank you so much for coming tonight.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Now, you heard it here on Win TV. And I'm asking you guys to go out on the website and look up OPP, and we'll see you next time. Thank you for joining us. Good night. We did good. Yay!